hurt sometimes. Paint me a picture, give me a sign. Darling, let's not fight. Oh, when the time starts ticking away, I fell into your arms at 10. Just hold, just hold, just hold, just hold me again. Yeah. Once in a while we might pick up the slack, get us back on track. Spending these nights just to loosen the load. Oh, baby, don't you wanna go? Oh, when the time starts ticking away, I fell into your arms at 10. Just hold, just hold, just hold, just hold me again. Just hold me again. Just hold me again. Just hold me again. Oh, let's go. Once in a while we might double the time, just to save some time. Spending these nights just to loosen the load. Oh, baby, don't you wanna go? Oh, when the time starts ticking away, I fell into your arms at 10. Just hold, just hold, just hold, just hold me again. Just hold me again. Just hold me again. Just hold me again. Just hold me. Spending these nights just to loosen the load. Oh, baby, don't you wanna go? Just hold me. Spending these nights just to loosen the load. Oh, baby, don't you wanna go? Spending these nights just to loosen the load. Oh, baby, don't you wanna go? Spending these nights just to loosen the load. Oh, baby, don't you wanna go? Just hold me again. Rolling nights all the time, driving away our summer's time. No matter where the wind is blowing, follow the sound of the church bells ringing. Rolling nights are what we had, spending our time just holding back from falling in love in the passenger seat, looking at stars with songs on repeat. Old times won't come back to me. Speeding fast all the time, catching a breath ain't no crime. No matter where the moon is shining, follow the cry of the train tracks coming. Easy nights, warm lights, no storm and no fights. These roads keep on rolling on, but our rolling nights are gone.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jeff Poole. For those of you who are coming here for the first time, this is to welcome you to PL Talks. PL Talks is a passion project of our Calgary law firm, Poole Lawyers. We started this project uh, in order to feature Alberta artists. Of late, with the pandemic, we've decided to expand our project to include from time to time other artists in Canada who we've come in contact with. Today, I'm very excited to be doing a live chat concert from British Columbia. Our guest, Francis Henson, is in the studio, 12th Street Studio in New Westminster, and I'm beaming in from Qualicum Beach. I'd hoped to travel today to New West, but to be with Francis, but with the latest wave in the pandemic, we concluded that wasn't safe. So thank you very much for coming. Francis, in his very young life, has accomplished amazing things. And in the process of preparing for this talk, I've really enjoyed getting to know Francis, who I've known for some time, better. Francis was born in 1997 in the Philippines. When he was just 10 years old, he left the Philippines and went to Kazakhstan. While he was in Kazakhstan, his parents sat him down and told him that he would be moving to British Columbia. Didn't quite know what to do with that, but he was at some level, he tells me, excited to move across the Pacific. But the trip across the Pacific has been a theme of Francis's music ever since. Francis graduated in 2019 from Capilano University in North Vancouver with a Bachelor of Music in Jazz Studies, majoring in performance and composition. Francis has produced three extraordinary albums. He has written the music, performed on them, and made them. He did Roots in 2017, and if you were doing the math, that was when he was just 20 years old. He did that in a small studio in New West. His next album he created on his own with his computer. That's the With a Little Bit of Grace album from 2020, and his most recent album released this year, Boy Pacific. I'm personally blown away by Francis's talent. He's not merely a singer, he's an extraordinary songwriter, an accomplished musician, phenomenal guitar player, and an all around good guy. So I'm pleased that Francis can join us today. So, Francis, welcome.
For having me.
So tell me, Francis, when you first discovered that you loved music.
First discovered when I loved music, I was 7, and my dad pulled out his old acoustic guitar from the closet. It was this old dusty thing, and we shook off the dust and handed it over to me. And then he pulled out a bunch of old Beatles records and Beatles DVDs, and I just started. I didn't even have any books or anything learning chords. I just learned guitar, and I learned guitar from watching Paul McCartney and George Harrison, John Lennon, watching them play on those DVDs and just trying to copy what they did. And it grew from there. Listened to the Beatles, listened to all sorts of music growing up, but it all stemmed from being 7 and seeing my dad pull out his old dusty acoustic guitar.
So I understand you're from very musical family, and that in many ways music eased the transition of the trip from the Philippines to Canada. Can you just tell me a little bit of how music introduced you to Canadians and Canada? Because I think it's an interesting tale.
Well, as a kid, moving from one country to another and one culture to another, music kind of served as a kind of a safe space for me because you're a kid, so you're developing your identity, um, and now not only developing your identity in one culture but in two. And in addition to making new friends in a new country, learning new ways of communicating, I knew I could always go back to the music that I loved or the songs that I liked to play and how that made me feel. And this was way before I even started performing publicly. So, so having music as a kind of safe space, it reminded me of a certain part of my identity that I could always fall back on, and it just made me feel like I knew who I was when I was growing up in two separate cultures.
So I remember, well, when I was a kid in junior high and high school, my best buddy played the guitar, and I was his wingman. And so I guess in your time, you were that guy with the guitar. How did that your voice and your guitar help you to integrate into your new land?
Yeah, I'm sure we've all been at those parties where there's this one guy who picks up the acoustic guitar, and half of the party thinks that's cool, and half of the party thinks, "Oh no, no, not this guy." And I was that guy. It helped me, definitely helped me to make friends for sure. It so I moved to Canada when I was 13, and I remember being 13 and to have something that not everyone else did was kind of cool because whether it be a sport or a specific sport that you really like, that you're a part of, or a specific craft or skill, it was guitar for me, and not a lot of people played guitar in my school. So to have this and to be kind of known as, yeah, you play guitar, right? Or you're the guy that plays guitar, was kind of cool. And at in music class, I remember I'd feel like that'd be like my time to shine because in other classes, I'd be the quiet kid, or in sports. I played sports too, but I didn't really feel like myself there. But in music class, I would always open up and show more of myself to people around me, and I always liked that.
So your new album, Boy Pacific, is a concept album, and it's really about the two sides of Francis Henson, right? The two countries that make you who you are today. There's a great song on that album that I just absolutely love, and I'm wondering if you can just do New Kid for
Yeah,
us now.
absolutely. Yes. So the album is called Boy Pacific, and just like you said, Jeff, um, it's centered around the two countries that I grew up in, straddling the Pacific Ocean, the Philippines and Canada, and kind of um, everything I've learned so far in my little 24 years of life. And this is a song from it. This is called New Kid. Your first steps on cold land, the
Ice cracks beneath your feet in this city that don't sleep. Never mind the way you grew. You put an accent on to cover what was gone. I know, just me and you. These new names and hard falls. You got a crush on a girl you couldn't even call. Hiding behind the way you knew life before, oh, this was true. I know, just me and you. And you told yourself that, oh, someday I'm gonna be someone. Oh, the year in a house so young. Oh, the nights just dreaming on. Yeah, someday I'm gonna be someone. You're the new kid on the block. You and your dad walk 3 miles just to get to the field on time. That's just the way it goes. Wanting nothing but a summer with friends I know. Where does a heart really grow? When will I ever know? Where does a heart really grow? I guess one day we'll know. And you told yourself so. Oh, someday I'm gonna be someone. Oh, the year in a house so young. Oh, the nights are just dreaming on. Yeah, someday I'm gonna be someone. Yeah, someday I'm gonna be someone. And the street lights were broken. They stuffed the mailbox with firecrackers and we watched them light up and the sky turned bright yellow. How can we have known? How can we have known? Your first steps on cold land. Your footsteps on snow and night sand. Someday I'm gonna be someone. Oh, the year in a house so young. Oh, the nights are just dreaming on. Yeah, someday I'm gonna be someone. Yeah, someday I'm gonna be someone. Oh, someday I'm gonna be someone. Oh, the year in a house so young. Oh, the nights are just dreaming on. Yeah, someday I'm gonna be someone. Yeah, someday I'm gonna be someone. Yeah, someday I'm gonna be someone. Yeah, someday I'm gonna be someone.
Wow. To make this all about me, boy, I have really good taste. That's a great song.
It was
So
all
you
your
wrote that
choice.
song. Yeah, you
Well
wrote
curated.
that song. Yes, and you wrote all the songs on your first album, Roots. And
That's right.
I confess I've known you for a while, so I heard you play some stripped down versions of those songs, and then I was really amazed to hear how you had arranged them and the instruments. That must have been a really expensive album to produce, your first album, Roots. Can you just tell everybody how it got put together and who appeared on it with you?
Absolutely. So Roots, released in 2017, I was 20 years old, and this was long before I knew the real costs of producing a record. And it probably cost me $800, maybe. It was also recorded at a studio here in New Westminster, not the one we're in right now, but another studio. And I had hired a lot of my friends from university, music friends, who have now come to be colleagues working in the industry here and the Vancouver music community. But I'd hired a lot of my friends to play all the instruments, basically to session and to engineer and produce the record. Although I didn't know that's what those terms were before. So that record probably cost about $800 in total.
Uh, it's mind-boggling. I'm going to do a little plug here. All you have to do is go on to iTunes and type in Francis Henson, and the three albums will come on. Uh, Now, I gotta guess that your next album costs more because I just love the sound on that album. So tell me how you made that album.
Glad you asked. Okay, so Roots cost $800, and I had hired all of my friends. And my next album, which was released last year in 2020, is called With a Little Bit of Grace. And I had self-produced that entire album from my home, in my room, with all the gear that I had at home. I recorded everything myself, mixed everything myself, quote unquote, mastered everything myself. And that album cost me maybe a total of $50 for beer, and that was about it. But of course, if you include all the time I spent on it, that's another story hour-wise. But I spent $50 in total for beer, and it was that one was a nice project because I was able to really take my time. I wasn't really working, trying to meet specific like studio hours that I was trying to work within. Going from Roots to With a Little Bit of Grace, I always like to say like to think that I learn at least one thing from every record. And going from Roots to With a Little Bit of Grace was the thing that I learned there was how to self-produce, and the right way to do things, the right way to do pre-production, the right way to approach different songs. And I felt that Roots, as a first album, because it's kind of like my show horse of sorts. Everyone has a first work, so I was trying to get everything in there. I was trying to get all the sounds that I wanted to get. But With a Little Bit of Grace is nice. I enjoyed that album because I was able to take my time a lot more and really hone into a specific sound. I'm a big John Mayer fan, and one of his quotes is, you want to be able to drive slow enough that you can look out the window and enjoy, instead of just trying to get to your destination. So that was definitely the case with a Little Bit of Grace. And yeah, that was released last year, 2020.
So the expression grace for me means a lot because I think of how fortunate I have been in my life, and that from time to time I've been visited by grace. One of the challenges of the time when you were writing that album was Black Lives Matter. And so there's this recurring theme in your work about you as a person and the two identities that you have. But I also think that with a little bit of grace it seems to be a personal statement by you of your response of the greater issues raised by Black Lives Matter. Am I reading that right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. With a Little Bit of Grace was released right in the thick of Black Lives Matter last year. And as we all were, it what do you say in that time? What do you say as an artist? What do you say as a human being? And in songwriting fashion, the way I felt that I could make my most compelling statement was to put it into song. And there are 10 songs on With a Little Bit of Grace, each with their own kind of they tackle a different thing that I was trying to say about Black Lives Matter and the movement and the sadness and the just the all the terrible things that went on at that time. And the name in itself of the album, With a Little Bit of Grace, that was kind of a little sarcastic jab almost from me, because so as well as Black Lives Matter, you had all the COVID is a hoax people, and this is ridiculous. And I just thought, man, like, you just have like with a little bit of grace, like you'll get by just fine if you just have like a little bit of grace, because clearly you don't. Like, you just need is a little bit grace, just a little bit. And yeah, there was just so much sadness and negative emotion that I felt that writing was the clearest way I could put out something, make a statement about it all, and kind of sum it up coherently as I could. And in support of that, when the album came out, I had kind of a little campaign that I told all of my followers that if they purchased the album online in a certain period of time, that we would donate all of the funds to the CCLA. And we did. I believe the number we were able to raise was something close to $600-700, which in the grand scheme of things is not a lot of money. But at the time, I remember thinking that, or I remember writing in a little post or blog that this is such a weird time, man, and like what are you supposed to do as an artist? How are you supposed to create relevant material? How are you supposed to make statements? And how are you supposed to make your stand? How are you supposed to connect with people? How are you supposed to influence people? And I just said in that little post that like $700 isn't a lot, but I hope that it spurs more things like that, or more things in the movement in people in my immediate community.
Well, that's cool. I'll make the observation that that's a 1,400% return on your investment of the $50.
There you go.
There's a great song on that album called "How Many Times." I wonder if you'd play it for us.
Absolutely. Yes. How many times? So How Many Times is the first track on this album, and goes like this.
times will the clock go round until it gets under my skin? How many days and nights must pass before I can really begin? How many times will I fall in love until I quit my silly mistakes? How many times will life go round? As many times as it will take. How many times around this block until I get the courage to park? How many times to rehearse my head, hopefully before it's dark? How many times will I curse my friend until I'm sick of all of the hate? How many times will life go round? As many times as it will take. I don't want you to cry, even though a second could be passing you by. I don't want you to cry no more. How many times will the clock go round until it gets under my skin? How many days and nights must pass before I can really begin? How many times will I fall in love until I quit my silly mistakes? How many times will life go round? As many times as it will take. As many times as it will take. As many times as it will take.
Beautiful. You've shared
times?
with me, yeah, how many times do we have to wait for the world to learn its lessons? There's an element to that song which I think you described, maybe not in these words, but there's an earnestness to it. And there's an integrity to it. At the same time, you're such a powerfully good singer and musician that it's kind of slick. So just tell me a little bit about your songwriting creative process.
Yeah, I have this catchphrase that I've learned in my songwriting life, and the catchphrase is earnest but slick. Earnest but slick. And in my earliest works, I thought a lot like first tattoos, your first songs have to be really meaningful. So you pour your heart out into your first songs, and they show, at least for me, they showed a lot of who I was at the time. And it's real hard on my sleeve, really earnest stuff. And I put that on one end of the spectrum of songwriting, really earnest. On the other opposite end of the spectrum is what I call slick. And under slick songs have a lot of tricks, whether those be production tricks or slick words, slick lyrics, slick chords. And the great thing with slick songs is that you don't have to mean any of it. You could just, if on a lyric note, you could just, they don't have to mean anything. You just have to follow a train of thought, and you just lyrics. And
So how about you
why
do
that's
it? Yeah, let's do tell us a little bit more with your guitar and your voice, or what you're talking about here.
yeah.
The slick,
Um, okay, slick.
accessible. What does that mean? What have you identified there as some of the factors?
Yeah. So in 2019, I released an EP called "In My Mind," and that one I put under the bucket of slick. And I'll sing a little bit of that song "In My Mind," and I'll preface this by saying I have no idea what I'm talking about, but it's a slick song. And it goes like this. I still remember all the things you said when I was still your man. How could it be that I was wrong for you, for you, for you, for you? How could it be we're playing games, running just to catch my breath? How could it be that I was wrong for you? In my mind, I feel I'm so right for your loving. In my mind, I know I cannot feel this way. I'm thinking every day. So, in my mind, cannot feel this way. Feel like what? I have no idea. But the words sounded fun to sing. And that one I put under slick. And for Ernest, that would be a song like that you just heard. How many times? How many times will I fall in love until I quit my silly mistakes? How many times to rehearse my head, hopefully before it's dark? So as a lyricist, I spent way more time kind of looking over the earnest lyrics than the slick lyrics, and not that either one is better than the other. You just have to tackle them differently. But it's been the most recent theme in my songwriting life has been trying to marry earnest with the slick. And I'm a huge Bob Dylan fan, and there's so many interviews of when he's not being ridiculous and insane. People just asking him like, so what does this mean? What is this symbolism? Hoping for some really deep, meaningful, profound statement, and he just says, it doesn't mean anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I find that really interesting about art.
Well, you've also though you had some real following for an Instagram video that you did where you made light of what goes into a contemporary song, and I found the Instagram video kind of interesting. And for those people watching who haven't seen that, maybe you could explain that and then play the song that emerged from this little exercise. So for all of us who listen to music but don't know how we're getting hooked in, maybe you can tell us a little bit about that, because I find it I find it not just amusing, I find it interesting.
All right. So this song is called Stuck Down in Paris with You. And the video on Instagram that you're talking about, Jeff, is called How to Write an Indie Acoustic Pop Song in 5 Steps. And it goes like this. You have to start with chords that use 2 fingers. And then you gotta add some oohs, and they have to be male falsetto oohs. And then you have to include lyrics about being in love, lost in a foreign city, trying to find your way back home. You were on the run when I found myself in Paris alone. Did you wanna stay? I hung up your clothes in the closet in case you came back. Just say you know how. Pre-chorus. Lost I was, say you know how I changed for the better chorus. The first time I loved myself true. And you gotta have a tag with the name of a foreign city in it. I was stuck down in Paris with you. How does it feel to fly on your own and all alone? Isn't it frightening to sit next to someone else on our road train ride home? Just say you know how lost I was, say you know how I changed for the better the first time I loved myself true. I was stuck down in Paris with you. How did we get here? Or was it something I said? Yeah. Just say you know how lost I was, say you know how I changed for the better the first time I loved myself true. I was never running from you the first time I loved myself true. I was stuck down in Paris with you.
All the elements of a great pop song. So tell me, I think you've had some good success on Spotify with that song.
Yeah. Following that video, I completed writing the song and actually put it on With a Little Bit of Grace. That album came out last year, and since then it's gone to do quite well on Spotify. It's my second highest played song, sitting right now at about I think about 160 or 170,000 streams. So I'm very, very thankful for that. Thank you everyone for listening to that.
All right, well, bravo. So what I get from you is that while you do love performing and you're a great performer, the real intrigue for you comes in the songwriting. And so one of the things I asked you to do in preparation for this, and we really haven't rehearsed this, was I asked you if you could pick a song of yours and then demonstrate how one song could be done in a number of genres. And
yes.
You said you would rise to the challenge. So I'm now going to take the risky live action thing and ask you if you could take a shot at that song. What song did you choose?
I'm gonna do a called "Stone on Stone," also from With a Little Bit of Grace last year. It's one of mine. We're gonna do it in different
Okay.
genres. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it. All right.
Okay. I've done the easy part. You got to do the hard part, man.
Okay, I'll shoot for, I think, let's shoot for maybe three. I'll try to do at least three. So here's the original. You could sing it something like this.
We built our house, stone on stone. A house is a home when you don't need to run. Years and years are written in my bones. Stone on stone, life is grown.
Or you could do it something like this, kind of like a James Taylor thing.
We built our house, stone on stone. A house is a home when you don't need to run. Years and years are written in my bones. Stone on stone, life is grown.
You could do it let's see, kind of like a hard rock kind of, not hard rock, soft rock kind of thing. You could go.
We built our house, stone on stone. A house is a home when you don't need to run.
You could go double time.
Years and years are written in my bones. Stone on stone, life is grown.
Kind of split it into two at the end there.
Yeah. If it hadn't been my idea, I would have suggested you were showing off there. That's just so much fun. So Francis,
Yeah, that's a fun little thing.
Yeah, I understand that you are targeting as you go forward to try to do an album every year. So you've done three in the last 3.5 years, I guess. So what are you working on? As you write some songs now for the next album?
I am, yeah. So far I have four or five songs that I feel pretty good about, and I really want to do a real folk and Americana album. Um, get all the instrumentation right, get all the way it's recorded right, get all the song styles right. I'll sing it right. That's kind of my next move. There's talk about heading back into the studio this summer, booking some dates. So maybe you could look forward to that. So far, though, I'll just keep writing. I'll keep writing for it. Can I play you one of the unreleased songs going on that album?
Well, I'd like that. Yeah, I'd like that. I'd like it to be a world premiere.
Yeah, we'll call this Unreleased. Yeah, the premiere, debut.
Mm.
So
you heard it here first.
There you go. You heard it here, folks. This song is called "Have You Put on the Coffee Yet?" And it's about living life a little too young and a little too fast, and not stopping to smell the roses.
Have you put on the coffee yet? It's too early for my head. Can you read me the stories that are written in black and white. It'll take a long time. Let's go get breakfast then. Let's not fight in the parking lot. We always pull away when we're supposed to pull in. Tell me, how it gonna win? Have you put on the coffee yet? It's 9 a.m. on a Sunday. Taking it slow is as fun as the fastest part. When can we start? Beckon to the doorway, a little dog all riled up. Let's finish this walk so I can get back to real things like making money and chasing dreams. Put on coffee yet? Winter rolled by in the blink of an eye. Why do the quickest months feel like the loneliest ones? It's been a while since I had fun. Have you put on the coffee yet? It's too early for my head. Let's read those stories that are written black and white. It'll take a long time. It'll take a long time. Something
Wow,
like that.
you know, yeah, well, that's such an exciting contemporary twist on the artists of my youth. When I was your age, I was listening to Neil Young and Bob Dylan and those guys, and I just really think that 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 brings me back there, but it's a contemporary song. So
Yeah,
congratulations on that. So that's what your theme's going to be for your next album.
yeah, that's right. Well, thank you. Yeah, as I've said before, Bob Dylan is been digging into him more a lot. Digging into him a lot more the past 2 years, and I've listened to two of his albums almost exclusively. That's the Freewheelin' Bob Dylan and Nashville Skyline. So I pretty much have those kind of internalizing those right now, trying to really get it. So yeah, I love him. Love him.
Yeah, well, me too. So, Francis, it's coming on the end of our time. I wonder if you could
Hmm.
play one more song of your choice before we take this out. Um,
Yeah, of
what would you
course.
like to sing?
Well, I think um, that song that we that I put in different keys or different styles. I'd like to actually show everyone and play that for real the way I wrote it and intended to sing it.
Uh,
Um, if that's all right with
good.
you.
Oh no,
All
no, that
right.
makes me really happy. That's a favorite.
All right. All right. Yeah. So this one is called "Stone on Stone," and it's from my album "With a Little Bit of Grace" last year, and it goes like this. One more drink and I'm staying here instead. Hope your folks don't mind. It's getting late for the last bus to come around. This one's truly for the books. One long drive to that cabin in the woods. What a little fun. Sure did fight over which road to take home. Getting lost is all we did. We built our house, stone on stone. A house is a home when you don't need to run. Years and years are written in my bones. Stone on stone, life is grown. Making room, framing pictures on the wall, sitting in the evening light. It's getting late and we're dancing off the wine. You promised me, you swore you're fine. What's another time? We built our house, stone on stone. A house is a home when you don't need to run. Years and years are written in my bones. Stone on stone, life is grown. Yes, I've seen this all before. Another stone and nothing more. Oh yeah. Our house, stone on stone. A house is a home when you don't need to run. Oh, years and years are written in my bones. Stone on stone, life is grown. Yes, stone on stone, life is grown. Yes, stone on stone, life is grown.
Bravo! And now, if you could
Thank
just
you,
play
thank
the full
you.
song, can you play the full song now in all the genres?
Yeah, give me 20 minutes.
So, Francis, I know your music is on iTunes because I bought everything that you have there. So you've got your Roots album with a little bit of Grace album and Boy Pacific, and then there's a couple of EPs on there. Is there another place where people can buy your music?
Yeah, the most direct place to buy and support me is through Bandcamp, and that would be Bandcamp. I believe it's bandcamp.francishenson.com or francishenson.bandcamp.com. One of those. That would be the most direct way to support me. If you are a streamer, if you stream your music on Apple Music or Spotify or Google Play or Amazon Music or most streaming platforms, you can find all of my music on those as well.
Fabulous, man, just fabulous. So, this concludes the formal part of our chat. So those of you who are hungry and want to leave and go for your dinner, I give you permission. For those of you who want to stay, we've got some questions, and I'm going to ask a couple of audience questions for Francis. But first, Francis, thank you very much for agreeing to do this. I've loved your
No, thank
music
you, Jeff.
for a long time. Thanks to Robin Young at my office, who coordinates this and gets the invites out and keeps communications clear. Thanks to Richard Crooks, Ralph Karstens, Jack Kao, 12th Street Sound. We couldn't have done any of this without you. I urge everybody to support Canadian artists, and when this pandemic is over, I hope that people can get out and see some of your live shows. In the meantime, keep on writing.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. I appreciate
that's great.
it. I feel quite honored to be the first BC musician on PL Talks.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm equally happy as well. So let's see what we've got here in the way of a question. Okay, question time. So you've said that Bob Dylan is a great influence of yours. How about playing a little cover of one of your mentors, Bob Dylan or somebody else? It'd just be cool to hear. You don't have to play the whole thing, but that's a request.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that this one? Yeah. Sure, some Bob. Here we go.
If you're traveling in the North Country Fair, where the winds hit heavy on the borderline, remember me to one who lives there. She once was a true love of mine. If you go in the snowflake storm, when the river's freeze and summer ends, please see if she has a coat so warm to keep her from the howling winds.
Oh, he would kill me if he knew that I only played half of it. Where are the other verses?
Well, no, I think if he were listening, he'd say, "Oh my God, if I could sing that song as well as that, I'd be a happy man."
I know. I whenever I sing Bob Dylan, I have to hold back the reins on the full Dylan impression. I can go all the way. It's too much. Once you go, you can't go back.
No. I really enjoyed that. It brought tears to my eyes, truly. So we try to keep these things more or less to an hour. So we have a request for one of your songs. It's called "Running." I believe it's "Running Through My Head."
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Wow,
that's the song.
That's a deep dive. Okay. Yeah, running through my head. Let's do it. This is from 2018, from an EP called Stride, and it's the last track on that EP. So this is a deep dive.
Okay, so we're gonna go out on this. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, let's do it.
You've got the moves to make a grown man cry, and you wonder why the world keeps moving on. I'm no different, baby. I'm still crying, baby. You're a lady with an knack to nibble on my foolish heart. You've got the moves, but so do I. Makes you wonder why it's taking so long to figure out what you're working. It's different now, good looking. Still I wonder why. Every night I hear a voice inside, but you were running through my head. You were running through my head. For so thought I'd say goodbye, but you were running through my head. You were running through my head. I'm so foolish. Fuck your love. Every night I hear a voice inside, but you were running through my head. You were running through my head.
There you go.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
I think that's a cut, Ralph.